mics on. The red button should be on,
Yep.
showing that you're live. I don't think everyone's on yet. Okay, Andy?
That's
Okay.
enough.
On.
Everyone, okay. So recording process, I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a required public hearing about bond funding. Right now, we have 4 members, so we have a quorum. But I would like a motion to appoint alternates Michelle Sadut and Rob Wolfchuk as voting
I
members
will
for
make a
this
motion
meeting.
where we appoint Rob and Michelle as alternates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. So now you may vote. You're both empowered to vote tonight. Okay. So this is a culmination of many steps in getting an easement confirmed and completed for Brentwood. You've all read the materials. We approved the sales agreement. The select board approved the sales agreement. We were empowered to go and apply for bond funding with the municipal bond, New Hampshire Municipal Bond Agency, and all the forms were submitted on time. And the next step was to have a public hearing so that, I'm going to read you the notice that was online so it's on record. This was posted in the required 10 days prior to the deadline. The Brentwood Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing required under RSA 36A:5(2) on Tuesday, June 4, 2024 at 5 p.m. in the town offices located at 1 Dalton Road, Brentwood, New Hampshire, 03833. The commission will consider making a recommendation to the select board to seek bonds or notes in compliance with the provision of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA 33:1 et SEQ, as amended, pursuant to Article 1 of the 2022 town warrant regarding the acquisition of a conservation easement on approximately 28 acres, plus or minus, portion of land hereinto after the property, situated on the eastern side of Pickpocket Road, so-called, located in the town of Brentwood, county of Rockingham, state of New Hampshire, being a portion of the property described in the deed recorded in Book 5940, page 1003 of the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds, currently owned by the Norma Fuller Irrevocable Trust, hereinafter the seller, shown on the Town of Brentwood tax maps as map 2013, lot number 1. The easement will be held by CELT, with the town holding an executory interest in the amount of $250,000. That's the posting that was online, verbatim. So is there any discussion from the public about this need to recommend to the select board? There being no audience or no members of the public in the room and present, I'm going to ask if there is a motion from the Conservation Commission to make the recommendation to the select board to seek bonds and funding.
So moved.
Paul?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
and just for,
Good.
for discussion purposes, the
Yes.
statute. Reference it in
Please.
the record is 36A:5, I believe it's Roman 2, which says that the town treasurer shall have custody of monies in the conservation fund, shall pay out same order of the conservation commission.
It's not the conservation fund, just to clarify. This is the open space bond
Yes.
authorization. So
Yes.
that may be referring to
All right.
another amount of.
What was the statute? Just so we can.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Right there. It's right in the text. No, I read that too, and I questioned that, why it's a conservation fund. But that's, does the bond go into the conservation fund? No.
He's talking about the conservation fund. Wondering, it goes on to say, disbursement of conservation funds shall be authorized by a majority of the commission prior to the use of such funds for the purchase of any real interest in real property or for a contribution to organization for the purchase of property. The conservation commission shall hold a public hearing with notice. I thought that's what he's
maybe it is.
pertaining
I
to.
thought that usually that would apply to spending, in our case, the 75,000.
Yes. Yes.
This was separate,
Mhm.
and that the Conservation Commission controls the conservation fund
Right.
without approval, to my knowledge.
I think we still have to go have a public hearing before
Yes,
we
a public
expend
hearing.
any, yes.
So anyways, I don't want to
Yes.
confuse the
Yeah.
issue.
Okay.
Whatever you put in,
Yeah, because section, what was being referenced in the notice,
okay.
Yep.
Section
I
two,
didn't
which
go
talks
there.
about a public hearing prior to
Okay.
the use of such funds for the purchase of any interest in real property.
Well, let us be clear,
Yeah.
maybe in our motion, that it's that or any other ordinance that is applicable to spending money under the
Yes.
open space bond approved
Okay.
at our town meeting.
Who wants
Just
to,
in
do
case we have it.
you want to rephrase do we want to rephrase the motion?
I need somebody to phrase it in the first
Okay,
place.
okay, okay.
Before I can rephrase anything. Motion, somebody please restate the motion.
To make a recommendation to the select board,
Actually, I don't think it's even a recommendation.
That
This
we
is just,
approve.
yeah, that the conservation hold a public hearing prior to the use of such funds. Disbursement shall be authorized by a majority of the Conservation Commission. In terms of monies in the conservation fund, and shall pay out same only upon the order of the Conservation
Can we just
Commission.
make it very generic? The Conservation Commission hereby approves the
Yeah.
expenditure of up to $250,000 from the open space bond approved at the town meeting in 2022 towards the purchase of the Fuller property and
purchase of the easement.
purchase of the easement of the Fuller property, and if necessary, recommend such to the select board
I don't think it even needs.
for their, I mean, I'm just
You
trying
could,
to
you could,
try and make
you,
it.
you could simply say, subject to select board approval if necessary.
Okay,
And should we include in any necessary bond financing
Yeah.
costs?
Yeah, well, the purchase of the bond.
Because I don't know if
we
you s-
applied for,
Yeah, there are
the bond,
costs
yes.
associated, I emailed you earlier, maybe I should have called that,
my computer stand,
where do the costs come from for the bond?
part of our repayment.
But like if it costs us $20,000
Yeah.
to issue the bond, where does that money come from at this time? Is it the conservation fund or is it rolled into the bond issuance? Sorry, I should have called earlier. So should we just make it and any associated bond financing costs?
Yep.
Maybe you can read it back.
I think I can do that.
Good luck.
As soon as I finish writing it.
Approved the solar panels for Swayze, was the $800,000 or $850,000 plus the 21,000 whatever for
The cost.
whatever that was.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I don't know if we know what those.
No, it just says actually the
Weird.
disbursement of conservation funds shall be authorized by a majority of the Conservation Commission.
And that's small
And-
c,
and-
right,
and-
conservation.
Small
Yeah,
c.
so it's
And then,
generic reference.
yeah, and then it says prior to the use of such funds for the purchase of an interest in real property, Conservation Commission shall hold a public hearing with notice. You know, that's what we're doing.
Maybe the money does come from the bond to the conservation. I've never seen it represented that way. But John was the treasurer and the chair all the time, so I never really saw any of the actual books or
Mhm.
what happens with all the process.
Right.
So I think we should just
But
make it
in any event,
applicable.
you know, to the extent that these are conservation funds, right, it has to be authorized by the Conservation Commission with a public hearing. That's what the statute says.
Sounds good. I'm not disputing the statute as long as we got the right statute.
All right, so here's the motion as I have it. To approve expenditure of up to $250,000 and associated bond financing costs from the open space bond funds in order to purchase the Fuller property easement. This approval is subject to select board approval under 36A if necessary.
Should we specify the property there? Isn't it a bigger property than?
yes,
Just
it is.
what
Do you
we're-
want to reference the tax map number?
Yeah.
2013, Lot 1.
But I don't think that there's an exclusionary area within that tax lot. Is that what you're referring to?
Well,
28.
they just
We
said
can't
Fuller
just say the Fuller
property.
property, we have
No,
to
I-
be more
Easement
specific.
on,
on the
Because
28th.
it's a, they
Designated
actually,
Fuller property per the purchase and sale agreement or something.
What are we saying?
I don't know how specific it
Is
needs
there
to
a
be.
legal description of the property?
No.
Yes, in the,
What's that? Okay. So the property as described in the notice of public hearing. The property described. Yeah. Public.
And then the only thing I might, we want to add that it's an executive, that the town will hold an executory interest, which also is in, I mean, we're just restating the
Yeah.
RSA.
I don't think we have to. I mean, it's,
it's in the,
if we buy an easement, we hold an executory interest.
now at the select board meeting following this, they are going to talk about the loan agreement with the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank. So that's moved forward.
Yep.
Okay.
This is just a legal step.
Yep.
In the multi-stepped process.
So this is a notice of the public hearing for today. How do I reference this thing? As described in the notice of public hearing. Okay.
It actually is for making a recommendation to the select board, but you have that language already. I mean, the statute actually talks about it as authorization.
I don't know.
You want to read that?
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
The motion is to approve expenditure of up to $250,000 and associated bond financing costs from the open space bond funds in order to purchase the Fuller property described in the notice of today's public hearing, subject to select board, or what we ought to do is end the sentence there and simply say, if this approval requires select board, or if this authorization requires select board approval under relevant New Hampshire statutes, then it'll be subject to that.
Do we even need that?
And, yeah, can we just,
Can we just leave that period? where
Well, I
you-
have to write it first.
can it be the commission is making a recommendation to the
Recommendation to
select?
the-
Well, are we making a recommendation or are we approving?
No, I think we should approve it.
Yeah,
Is
I agree.
approving,
If it require, I think Michelle's right. If it requires their approval, then they'll go to them next.
making
don't-
a,
Or just
is
approve it?
making a recommendation? No?
Or authorizing or approving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Expenditure of whatever.
Passes our sniff test.
Mapped it all
Yeah, exactly.
together yet.
And that's not referenced, it's only
Uh,
referenced
Where did you get
briefly,
the link
Yeah.
for that?
33:1. That's what Karen put together and posted on the town website back on 2 weeks ago.
I wonder if there's a different RSA. Because those aren't conservation funds. It's a whole new bond that we're purchasing or a step. But
We've made it broad enough to cover.
I think so.
As long as we're in compliance and this doesn't delay any other decision by the board.
Properly noticed meeting to make expenditures from the open space bond fund, so that's the critical part.
I've got it. So the motion is to approve expenditure of up to $250,000 of open space bond funds and associated bond financing costs in order to purchase an easement on Fuller property described in today's notice of public hearing, period. To the extent this approval requires select board authorization under relevant statute, this approval shall be contingent upon receiving that authorization.
That's fine. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the previous select board approval, which was publicly noticed,
Yes.
was their authorization. So we're just joining. That's fine.
Do you want, I mean, I can remove the second sentence.
Leaves it open. It's open.
So that's my motion.
Seconded.
We have two
Any-
lawyers here. You look.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
Okay, so Matt makes the motion, Andy seconds it.
Got it.
Any discussion beyond what we've done? Okay, ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. So the vote is 6-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Before we motion to adjourn, I'm going to leave the room for just a second to see if Karen is here, to see if she has any concerns about this.
Good idea.
Probably good.
Just,
Okay?
just a prudent
idea.
idea.
And is there a meeting on next Wednesday?
Next week.
Next Wednesday,
Our-
yeah,
yeah.
Our regular meeting, right.
And we are going to have a special guest speaker from the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests.
Cool.
I had spoken to the director who couldn't attend, but she offered her data scientist who is going to zoom in with us to explain the coastal conservation plan, which is the guiding plan that all of the agencies in the area are working from through the Great Bay Resource Partnership. So that's Fish and Game, Nature Conservancy, SPNIF. This woman is coming from the Nature Conservancy. July's meeting, the director of land conservation from the Society for Protection of New Hampshire Forests is going to zoom into that meeting to understand how they work with communities in our area, how they interact with this Great Bay Partnership. And then this coastal conservation plan that we'll see next week is the guiding plan that most of the agencies, Fish and Game, everyone is working towards to prioritize and probably where the grant money will fall. So as we work on our open space committee and our conservation efforts, it would be great to incorporate that newest plan. So we're gonna get a little education on that for all of us.
I have the chair of the select board here to listen to the motion.
Oh, well, so we may have to amend the motion because the notice states that this public hearing is being held in order for the commission to consider making a recommendation to the select board. And so that's not what we did. We approved it. I think we need to reword it the way Becky initially phrased it in order to comply with what we put in the,
Right,
in
the
the,
public hearing really, I think, has to take place before you make an official
Yes.
recommendation.
which it did. But the point is, Paul was reading from the applicable statute, and the gist of it is, it seems that the Conservation Commission may have authority to just approve the expenditure on its own without seeking select board approval. And
No, I don't know that that's
You
necessarily.
can't,
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, no.
So
You
can
have
we
to
put
advise.
recommends and approves?
It does, I mean, the statute uses authorizes, but it's, authorizing subject to the select.
So basically what you're saying is your public hearing has concluded
Right.
with no public comment. And
Right.
your board is, yeah, so your board can make a decision to bring to my board
Right.
your official recommendation. And then we'll act on
Which
it.
is verbatim from the public hearing?
Or
the public
whatever,
notice?
however, whatever you are asking us to approve or act on at the select board level.
So we are recommending that you approve and act on the language that was published on the town website of a notice of public hearing.
I think you could use this language.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Yep.
So just change authorized to recommend.
Yep.
Sure.
And I think the rest of it should be fine.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we need to,
We just don't want anything to slip through before you meet if there's a deadline for this.
I think that should be.
You may have the wrong statute.
Well, if I'm looking at 36
May all
dash
be-
A
may all be
52,
wrong.
yeah, it does use the term authorized. But, you know, it's authorizing subject to the select board approving it, but either way.
I'm not aware of anything we could do that wouldn't require select board approval
Exactly.
when it
Right.
comes to spending
Of course
money,
not.
Right.
except for the $75,000 commission.
Right, so we're recommending this.
Yeah,
okay, so we had a motion, we approved and voted on, how do we undo it?
well, no, I think we just, I'll just
Can you read it?
I'll just amend it.
Could you read it aloud?
Yeah, it's a motion to recommend approval of expending up to $250,000 of open space bond fund and any associated bond funding costs in order to purchase an easement on the Fuller property as described in the in today's notice of public hearing. And so I don't need to the extent
Correct.
stuff.
Right.
So that's
Should
it.
we just formally have the people who made the motions amend their motion and we vote?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So I'll amend the motion to what I just read.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the amended motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Vote is 6-0. Any opposed? No. 6-0 to approve the motion. Okay.
And we'll see you in like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. sounds
Thank you,
good.
Jen,
Thank you.
very much.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn. Second.
Ooh, enthusiastic.
Aye.
Thank you very
Aye.
much. Aye. The language is confusing, Paul, but look at the statute.
Well, it is.
That's why I was asking.
I'm just wondering if that is not the correct statute.
Well, that's the one we noted.